my word.
Hello there, welcome to a brand new video, and in this video we're gonna talk about my experience with the Monsterverse. So yeah, after this video is over, just type in the comments. You don't have to, just type in the comments what other franchises I experienced next. But yeah, without all my yapping, we're just gonna get straight into the video, okay? First, we're starting up with Godzilla 2014. And I was like 5 years old when I first started watching the Monsterverse. Because before, I was originally watching the Heisei era and the Showa era. But when I first started watching the 2014 movie, I wasn't really Skyped on the human scenes. I was pretty much there for Godzilla. And a lot of rewatches of this movie a couple years later, I start to understand it. And as I kept rewatching it, the human scenes grew on me. The only human character I liked was Dr. Sarazawa, who's played by the Asian actor. I don't know his name. I mean, even though it showed less Titan action, it was more emotional and in-depth because it was mainly directed by Gareth Edwards. And the marketing for this movie wasn't really that bad. And the villains, male and female Muto, I didn't really like them that much. Mainly just because there were just giant insects around the city. And then looking at the female Muto's death, they just kind of made out. Yeah, I can see why it's called the kiss of death. But this video is probably not going to be long anyway, so I might as well go ahead and rate it 9 out of 10. Next, Kong Skull Island, a movie that came out 2017. And I was like 8 years old when I first seen this movie. But back then I wasn't really much of a Kong guy. But the first time I watched this movie, I actually enjoyed it because it showed more Titan action with Kong, the Skullcrawlers, and pretty much every single monster they showed on screen. And the reason why I actually watched Kong Skull Island because Samuel L. Jackson is in the movie. And I like how much emotion they gave to Kong. Like in that one scene where the girl like pressed on Kong's nose, his eyes started like dilating or something like that. And when it shows that he's angry, he shows that he is pissed off. And my favorite scenes from that movie was the final fight and the scene where Kong literally destroyed every single helicopter in the sky. And the supposed villain, Ramarak, I like how he was just a huge major threat to the whole island, known to be called the Big One. But yeah, Kong Skull Island was a good movie in the Monsterverse, and I'm gonna give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. Now, on to the best and nostalgic movie of the Monsterverse. Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019. Now, last time I could remember, I was fucking 10 years old when I seen this shit. But all I can say, this was the best movie in the Monsterverse back in 2019 to now. Because it was bringing back nostalgia from the Showa era, the movies I used to watch back in 2011. And then they brought Rodan, Ghidorah, and Mothra, and then they brought back the classic song. I'm not gonna play the real one because I'm not trying to get copyrighted. And this song made this movie absolute fucking cinema. I don't care what y'all say. And a lot of you probably already agree with me that this movie beats 2014, 2017, even 2021 and 2024. And then they even showed burning Godzilla in the movie. And believe me, I was shocked. And this is easily the best, I mean the best movie in the Monsterverse. 20 out of 10. No, not even 20. 100 out of 10. And now we're at the Monsterverse garbage line. Well, I'm not gonna call this necessarily garbage, but yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong. Because when I first watched this shit, I had mixed feelings while watching it. Because obviously Godzilla was gonna win regardless. And it was pretty obvious that Godzilla was just playing around with his food, catching him laughing 2 times. In the first fight and in the Hong Kong fight. And this movie felt fast-paced. I mean, at least they're showing Godzilla's emotions, like in King of the Monsters. Like, remember that one scene from King of the Monsters where Godzilla was like looked down at the people that were on his like submarine boat? and his eyes just like wide open to realize they weren't a threat. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But this time he's actually grinning in Godzilla vs. Kong. And for those who say he was not laughing in the first fight or the second fight, I can pull those clips up right now. And yes, this shows signs that Godzilla doesn't even care about Kong, like Adam Wingard said behind the scenes. And he even said in the Monsterverse he doesn't see Kong beating Godzilla. Well, he's right. Kong cannot beat Godzilla in the Monsterverse because he took more than just punches and a hit from the axe from an ape. He's been impaled by the Mutos, thrown off the stratosphere from Ghidorah, being power drive to death by the Muto Prime from Godzilla Aftershock, the graphic novel, being stabbed by Scylla in the beginning of the graphic novel Godzilla Dominion, and almost being choked to death by Tiamat in the end of Godzilla Dominion. So yeah, I don't even know what the Kong fans are even yapping about anymore. They lost, literally. And I'm not a fan of Godzilla nor Kong, regardless. I'm just spitting a fact. And then we have the Mecha Godzilla idea. They could have saved Mechagodzilla for a future Monsterverse movie. Because number one, it was possessed by Ghidorah's skull. And honestly, this just could have been Mecha King Ghidorah. Because in the OG Mechagodzilla vs. Godzilla film back in 1974, was created by the Black Hole 3 aliens. Also known to be called the Saimaz. I can't even pronounce their name. But yeah, they just could have kept Mechagodzilla for a future project. And the reason why I'm saying Mecha King Ghidorah is a better option for the top villain of Godzilla vs. Kong, because Mecha King Ghidorah was modified after the remains of Ghidorah in the Heisei era, where he was originally from. They could have just got Ghidorah's remains from the 2019 incident, because in the secret post-credit scene of King of the Monsters, one of the Ghidorah heads was shown known to be Kevin. They could have just modified him to be Mecha King Ghidorah, like they did back in the Heisei era. And it could have kept Mechagodzilla as like a cyborg alien for the future Monsterverse movies, but they just decided to make him a government robot. But yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong wasn't really a good movie to me. So I'm just going to give it a straight up 6 out of 10. And now to the debacle of it all. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. This came out last year and I was 15 years old. And rewatching this movie a couple times, this movie was just stupid. And I'm not even joking. This movie was just plain old stupid. Because it's just a whole nother Kong movie, but with Godzilla's name and only 7 minutes of screen time with Godzilla in the movie. While Kong literally has 11 minutes or somehow a lot more in this movie. And then we were so hyped for Shimo when Shimo only has 4 minutes of screen time and barely did anything throughout the movie. And the only harm Shimo has done in this movie was giving Kong frostbite, freezing up Godzilla, freezing up the atmosphere, and freezing up Rio de Janeiro, being controlled by Scar King, of course. And this movie shows more apes than lizard. And it's kind of fucked up to see that Godzilla only has 7 minutes of screen time in this movie. Shimo has 4, Scar King has 7, and to be honest, Shimo and Scar King don't even show up until an hour into the movie. And then we have the Egypt fight. People are still debating who actually won this fight. People claim that Kong won. Well, fun fact, did I not just say this before? Godzilla has taken harder hits from other kaijus that are stronger than him. And then we have people claiming that the Beast Glove is able to kill Godzilla. Well, number one, they're completely wrong. Because if that was true, Mechagodzilla would have killed Godzilla, Ghidorah would have killed Godzilla, Muto Prime would have killed Godzilla, Tiamat would have killed Godzilla, and I think people are forgetting how durable Godzilla really is. Are we really going to forget that he survived being dropped from Ghidorah from the stratosphere and managed to land on his back perfectly okay? Are we just gonna forget that Godzilla lost his spines to the Muto Prime back in Godzilla Aftershock? Are we just gonna forget that Godzilla trapped Scar King all by himself along with his army and Shimo? And are we forgetting what happened in the last movie?
Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
Yeah, exactly my point. But in my honest opinion, Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, it just should have been called Son of Kong. Erase Godzilla, Shimo, Tiamat, Scylla. Just call this movie Son of Kong or Kong: The New Empire. It just makes Scar King and his army of apes the villain. Like, that was so unnecessary. Like, very unnecessary. I don't even know why y'all brought Mothra back. She only had like 1 minute of screen time. But yeah, in all words, this movie was just fucking goofy and stupid. I'm so sorry, but this movie was just goofy. Real talk. And I honestly thought this was gonna be a Godzilla movie since he was evolving in this film. But no, the monkey takes the spotlight once again. Am I mad at this? Kinda, yeah. Because they literally showed more screen time of him in Godzilla vs. Kong. And Godzilla vs. Kong was a Kong movie. And I thought the new Empire was going to be a Godzilla movie. But no, they switched it up. This movie, I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. It was horrible, but yeah, that'll be it for the video. Comment down below what other experiences should I do next. Like, subscribe, and peace out.